Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking through some player props I like on Prizepicks for the 2-game NFL slate on Christmas Day. We have 2 Christmas Day NFL games. Wanted to give you guys some early player props that I did like for these games. Also want to go ahead and wish you guys a Merry Christmas. Hope you all have a good holiday and enjoy the day with some family. Obviously, it should be a lot of fun watching some football as well. I'm recording this video actually 2 days before Christmas, so I'm recording this on Monday night. I'm going to be busy all day Christmas Eve, going to be at family stuff, so I really wasn't going to have a lot of time to do any videos Christmas Eve. So I wanted to go ahead and get these videos done the day before or 2 days before, just go ahead and get them posted for you guys. So we've got 2 early player props that I do like for the Christmas Day NFL games, taking a look at the board on Monday night, 2 days before. Now, it's a 2-game slate. We actually have 2 pretty good games as well. It's going to be a fun one. We got the Chiefs and the Steelers. First game is starting at 1 o'clock, and then after that, we have Texans and Ravens. So this is a good little 2-game slate we got for Christmas Day. We're going to give out a prop from each game that I like, and we'll kind of discuss why I like each play. Now, before we do get started, guys, as always, if you guys do enjoy these Prizepicks videos, and if they do help you out, make sure to hit that like button down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well. And if you are new to the channel, and if you are new to Prizepicks, go sign up for Prizepicks. Use promo code NOAH when you do. When you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code and place your first lineup, you'll get $50 in promo funds instantly added to your account. And I do want to shout out Prizepicks because they do have a free square for the Christmas Day NBA slate. They have Nikola Jokic's points prop set at 0.5. This is a free pick that's available for everyone, new users and existing users. So you want to be taking advantage of anytime sites run promos like this, discounts, free squares, you want to be playing these. So if you guys don't have an account on Prizepicks, that's another incentive to sign up right now. Take advantage of that Jokic free square for NBA. Even though it's an NBA prop, you can still play it with NFL stuff. You don't have to play NBA props with that. Take advantage of that. Sign up. Use that code NOAH when you guys do check out Prizepicks. Now, I do also want to shout out Sleeper as well because we do have a partnership with Sleeper, and you guys can sign up for Sleeper. Use promo code NOAH over there. And right now, Sleeper is running a new promo for new users. Very simple. Play $5, get $55. This replaces their 100% deposit match promo that they used to do. You deposit, you don't have to deposit a lot of money for this promo. You can deposit the minimum, which on Sleeper is $25. You put in $25, play a $5 lineup. Even if you lose that $5 lineup, Sleeper is going to give you $55 worth of free lineups that you can then play, win money off of. So this is a really exciting promo for new users, especially people who don't have a larger bankroll, don't want to put a lot of money into this. You can deposit the minimum on Sleeper and still be able to kind of build up a little bit of a bankroll off that, because Sleeper is going to give you $55 worth of free lineups once you play your first $5 lineup. So make sure to go check out Sleeper, guys, and again, use that promo code NOAH when you do sign up for Sleeper. But we got 2 props to talk about for Christmas Day NFL. Let's go ahead and break them down. So the first prop that I like from the first game, the Chiefs and the Steelers game, the prop that I like in this one is Travis Kelce, and we're going to take Travis Kelce for more than 43.5 receiving yards. So this is a really low line on Travis Kelce than what we're normally used to seeing, and I think the reason his line is so low is just kind of due to his last 2 games. He has had some down games. He had only 27 receiving yards against Cleveland, had only 30 receiving yards last game against Houston. But if you look more into it, Kelce was still pretty heavily involved in the game against Cleveland, where he only had 27 yards. He still got 8 targets in that game. And then last week against Houston, even though he only had 30 yards, he still got 7 targets. Like, Travis Kelce has still been Mahomes' top target this season. And I know that the Chiefs did get Hollywood Brown back last week, but Hollywood Brown was limited to only 20 snaps. It's a short week for these teams. Obviously the Chiefs, they just played like not even a few days ago. They played on Thursday of last week, or Friday or something like that. Like, it's been a short week for them. So they're not going to come into this game really with a ton of rest. I think there's a good chance Hollywood Brown, even though he was limited last week to 20 snaps, he doesn't really see a big boost in his playing time. Like, I think he could be limited to like 25 snaps here. So I'm still expecting Travis Kelce to be pretty heavily involved, kind of like he always is. He's a guy that typically sees like 8 to 9 targets per game. Just hasn't really been able to get really any big plays. Like, a lot of his receptions have just kind of been short catches. Like, he's not really been able to break any long plays. But that's gonna change at some point. Like eventually Kelsey's going to get free in the secondary. He's going to, him and Mahomes are going to connect for a big play. And this is a line that Kelsey has been able to go over in a good amount of games this season. In fact, he's actually gone over this line, I believe, 6 out of his last 9 games. And the games he went under, I mean, the last 2 games, obviously, and then there was a game against Buffalo where he only had 8 receiving yards. But I would bet on Travis Kelsey going over 43.5 receiving yards more times than not, especially when he gets like 8 or 9 targets, which is what he's been averaging, per game this season. Also, if you look at Patrick Mahomes' pass yards prop, I mean, Mahomes has a 251.5 pass yards prop. I feel like if Mahomes gets anywhere near 250 pass yards in this game, it's very likely that Travis Kelsey's going to have 44 receiving yards because Mahomes targets Kelsey so much. In fact, if you look at games this season where Mahomes has had like 250 plus in terms of pass yards, Kelsey has gone over this receiving yards line in almost all those games. I think there was only one game this season. It was the first game of the season against the Ravens. Mahomes did throw for 291 yards, and Kelsey only had 34 yards in that game. But then you look at the game against the Chargers, 245 pass yards for Mahomes, and Kelsey had 89 receiving yards. Against the Saints, Mahomes threw for 331. Kelsey had 70 yards in that game. Against the Raiders, he threw for 262, and Kelsey had 90 yards. Against the Bucs, he threw for 291. Kelsey had 100 yards. Against Denver, he threw for 266. Kelsey had 64 yards. He threw for 269 against Carolina. Kelsey had 62 yards. Against the Raiders again, he threw for 306. Kelsey had 68 yards. So, you can see when Mahomes typically throws for 250 plus, Kelsey usually is good for 44 yards. Mahomes pass prop for Christmas is set at 251. So obviously the sports books are expecting Mahomes to have a good amount of production through the air. And you look at Mahomes' volume as of late in terms of pass attempts, he's been throwing the ball a lot. He's got a 36.5 pass attempts line. You can see his last 5 games. He's gone over this in all of his last 5 games. The Chiefs have gone back to being really, really pass heavy. We kind of saw for a short spurt, they were using the run. They were running the ball a little bit more. First 2 games of the season, Mahomes only had 28, 25 pass attempts. But, man, their last 10 games, he's been chucking the ball. 38, 44, 42, 33, 37, 46, 37, 38, and 41 pass attempts for Patrick Mahomes. So with that type of pass volume, especially with how much Mahomes likes to target Kelsey, I think we got a pretty good chance of getting more than 43.5 receiving yards here for Travis Kelsey. Again, I know Hollywood Brown is on the team now and he's healthy and he's playing, but he was limited to 20 snaps last week. It's a short week for both these teams. I don't think we're going to see too much of a role change for Hollywood Brown. I think he's probably going to be limited once again. So Kelsey should still be on the field for a large majority of snaps, still be a guy that gets a lot of targets. I think we can project him for probably at least 7, if not 8 targets here. When he gets 7 to 8 targets, usually he can get you 44 yards. So I do like that as our first prop for Christmas Day NFL. Next prop I like from the other game, from the Ravens and Texans game, we're going to take Lamar Jackson for more than 21 fantasy score. So Lamar has been playing at an elite level this season. He has accounted for a ton of the Ravens' touchdowns, whether that be through the air or with his legs. You can see Lamar has gone over this fantasy score line in 4 out of his last 5 games. The game he went under was a tough divisional matchup against the Steelers, who obviously are a really good defensive team. This spot against the Texans, I think, is a much better matchup for Lamar. Now, the Texans' defense is definitely not as bad as it used to be, but this is still a really good spot going into Houston in a dome environment. Anytime teams play in domes, those games are just more likely to be high scoring because you don't have to worry about weather, anything like that. Typically, you see games indoors have pretty high totals, and right now the total in this game is sitting at 46.5. I think we're going to see some points scored in this one. I think this Texans offense, even without Tank Dell, even without Steph Diggs, I think the Texans offense can still put up points, especially through the air against this Ravens team. And if the Texans are putting up points and they're kind of forcing Lamar and this Ravens team to keep their foot on the gas pedal, we just see so often, especially in games that are competitive, Lamar can just crush. When Lamar has bad games, it's usually because either Derrick Henry gets all the touchdowns, or usually that's why. The only games Lamar has really, I think he's only gone under this fantasy score line 3 times this season. And if you look at the games where Lamar went under, against Washington, he only had 1 touchdown. It was a passing touchdown. I don't think he had any rushing touchdowns in that game. I'm going to check just to confirm. No rushing touchdowns. He did have 40 rush yards, but only 1 passing touchdown. He went under against the Raiders. He threw for 247 and 1, but had no rushing touchdowns. And then The other game he went under was against Pittsburgh. He threw for 207, had 1 passing touchdown, and no rushing stats. So, like, typically, when Lamar goes under this fantasy score line, it's typically just because he kind of runs bad on touchdowns, and that's either from Derrick Henry getting the touchdowns. Usually that's why. It is, they get to the goal line, they just give it to Derrick Henry. But when Lamar throws for 2 TDs or more, I think he's gone over this fantasy score line in every game this season where he's thrown for at least 2 TDs. And I'm not saying Lamar has to throw for 2 TDs to go over this line, because he can easily run for a touchdown. I mean, he's had, 3 rushing touchdowns this season. We know he's an extremely mobile quarterback. But you look at his passing touchdowns prop at 1.5. That's a goblin. It's favored to go over. So that shows you the sportsbooks are favoring Lamar to throw for 2 touchdowns here. And like I said, Lamar is over this fantasy score line in every game this season where he has thrown at least 2 touchdowns. So I do like this play a lot on Lamar Jackson. He's just been such a good fantasy quarterback, because not only is he a great, efficient passer, and not only has he been throwing the ball extremely well this season, but he also gives you that rushing upside. He's an extremely dual threat guy that can break off long runs. He's always a threat to get rushing touchdowns. He just has so many ways to rack up fantasy points. Again, I think the way that Lamar fails is that he just doesn't get any touchdowns and they all go to Derrick Henry. But hopefully that doesn't happen here. I think if this Houston team can put up points and kind of force the Ravens to keep their foot on the gas pedal, force the Ravens to throw the ball, that's just going to lead to a lot of fantasy points for Lamar, because when Lamar throws the ball, usually that means a lot of fantasy points. I mean, you look at games this season where he's had like at least 30 pass attempts. He's had 25 fantasy points, and then he had the game against Pittsburgh with only 15, but then 32 against Cincinnati, 24 against Cleveland, 33 fantasy points against Cincy, threw the ball 42 times that game. He had 25 fantasy points against KC. Like, when Lamar throws the ball, usually good things happen, because he's been incredibly efficient this season. I like him for more than 21 fantasy score here. Also, I don't mind taking his over on pass yards either. I think this is a pretty good prop as well. But the reason I like fantasy score more is just because you have more outs with fantasy score. Lamar could throw for like 175 yards and still go over this fantasy score line, because he could throw for 2 touchdowns. He could run for 40, 50 yards and get you like a rushing touchdown or something. You just have more outs with fantasy score. That's definitely my favorite prop on Lamar for Christmas Day. So what we're going to roll with, guys, is our 2 props for the Christmas Day NFL games. We're going to take Travis Kelce for more than 43.5 receiving yards, and we're going to take Lamar Jackson for more than 21 fantasy score. So if you guys are going to tell me on these 2 plays, let's try to hit both these plays here. Let's make some money on this slate, guys. As always, I appreciate you watching, supporting the Prizepicks content. Make sure to hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button as well. And if you guys are new to Prizepicks, if you don't have a Prizepicks account, sign up, use that promo code NOAH. When you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code, place your first lineup, you'll get $50 in promo funds instantly added to your account. Make sure you guys check out Prizepicks if you have not yet. Again, happy holidays, guys. Enjoy the games, enjoy Christmas Day, and I will see you guys back here in our next video. Best of luck this week or on this slate, and I'll see you guys in the next one.